as we come down to what could be the beginning of the end for either of these players' road to be a Grandmaster. I mean, I guess we already know that ETC is going to not be joining us for Grandmasters, but Empanizado definitely needs a big win here. Just to put himself in the best possible position heading into the final 2 weeks. I know Empanizado last season was in Division A. This season being Division B has got to be uncomfortable feeling for him for sure.
Not ideal for sure. Not ideal. But still think he's playing some good Hearthstone. And one of the things is Empanizado, it feels like he always has something unique about his lineup, which I appreciate.
You asked for it.
Not as unique as maybe Briarthorn, who's consistently each week brought, at least his own little flair on decks. But Empanizado last season with the Dragon Druid, this season just combining different things in Conquest. Even the construction of this Temple Mage deck that he brought with like Frostbolt, a lot of one-ofs, one of Firebrand, one of Arcane Intellect, one of Devolving Missiles, one of Violet Spellwing, one of Mirror Image. Feels like he should just throw his Zephyrs in there. Just because. Wow! That's the hand right there. That's
nice.
It. Pack it up.
Play turn 1.
Yeah.
Is there any reason to not to, TJ?
No. Zero reason.
Oh my goodness. Am I on day 1 of the Hearthstone subreddit watching the 2 Innervate, or rather the 2 Lightning Blooms plus the Innervate coin guarding animals? No emote. I strongly disagree with that, TJ. At least that deserves a greetings. Maybe my thanks to you.
Yeah. Didn't get Twilight Runners, which is just a real bummer. But overall, still hard agree with the play here.
I mean, Empanizado doesn't really have much to do except take 8 a turn. He was really hoping that this would slow down a little bit, but no such luck right now, as he is getting steamrolled in this early game here. There's not much he can do about it, unfortunately.
Yep. He's got no ramp. Well, he's just pushing 8 damage a turn. So, like, Empanizado's dead in 2 turns if he doesn't find a way to defend himself. Like, that's the crazy part of it.
Yeah, this looks. I mean, this looks over.
Yeah.
This is so crazy. Today has just been a blowout victory after blowout victory, TJ.
I wonder.
There's some games that have been come down to the wire, but it's like there's just seems to be a crazy amount of unstoppable hands, or rather, some hands that are just completely dead and unplayable. It's been wild, to say the least.
Yep. I guess Ogre Magi, because if you just pick a bunch of small stuff, they're just going to get swept up by the Lake Threshers.
Right. I mean,
he hasn't done anything since turn 1, and Empanizado's on 12 health.
You know what this feels like? It feels like Empanizado's playing a PvE solo adventure, and the boss starts off with 2 Lake Threshers and challenges you to try to beat it.
Yeah.
and Empanizado is not prepared for it.
Yeah, and he didn't go online and look up the best strategy for beating it. He just picked one of the decks that was in his collection.
He didn't go to like Hearthstone and look up all the guides.
Yeah.
And like didn't read the hero power before he started the solo adventure.
He's like, I have to win this. I can't tell my friends that I lost to the PvE adventure.
What to do?
Click go to the bottom right, click the cog, and click restart. Empanizado, you got this.
I should have done this differently.
my
I should have hard
gosh.
mulligan for devolving missiles.
That's right.
Time runs out on me.
Keep doing that until you have devolving missiles in your opening hand.
I mean, anything he plays here just gets eaten up by leg pressures. It's like, what do you want to protect? I guess in case you get cram session, you protect the mana reservoir. Still nothing to play.
What? What are you talking about? You can hero power and bog beam this turn.
Okay, I don't even know if the bog beam does anything. I think you want to push damage to face. Like you could bog beam trade over the mana reservoir.
No, don't trade. Push.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, the bog beam's useless for pushing.
Well,
There
no
you
matter
go.
how you slice it, ETC is. Oh, if he trades, like the reason why I like pushing damage is that then you get to the point where like Empanizado has to keep freezing the Druid face because they're just gonna die to one hero power, and that's a position that I love being in when I'm the Druid.
Yep. Blizzard.
I mean,
Just keep getting those arcane giants cheaper. He could also go for like arcane breath.
right.
He could
Thinking
summon
about
a
Arcane Breath here.
Yeah.
But
You could also like evocation and look for something, but like I don't think that's particularly good just because he already has things that can stall in his hand.
right. I think I like Blizzard because next turn you have Lab Partner and maybe pick up something to use the Arcane Breath with and get that Dragon synergy going. It's not likely because he's not playing any Cobalt Spellkin, but I think you got to be optimistic here. Why is he shaking his head? He's just like disgusted. It's just like you know what it is. It's a silly game. That's just what. That's the reason why. It's just starting to get a little ridiculous.
I wonder.
I still agree with the turn 1 guardian animals. It's just he found 0 follow-up.
Oh, it says explode!
Yeah, I
And
mean,
if he loses this game, it's honestly going to be pretty funny. Okay.
I
well,
think so too, man.
there's a broomstick. I feel like you overflow this turn and then go off with exotic mount seller next turn. Don't think there's really anything else that's worthwhile. Okay. Reset Iron Bar, Crystal Power. It's funny is because he only has an Innervate left in the deck as far as like the soft ramp goes. Because he used them all on turn 1 to get the guardian animals out. So he doesn't have access to like extra mana crystals. And I'm probably going to end this turn with 10 cards, to be honest. I think he'd rather
Right.
have an extra beast from Exotic Mount Seller next turn than a random card from his deck.
I can buy it. I think that for Empanizado, he just has to basically go all out here and hope that Druid doesn't have a response. But like, what's the right combination of it, right?
Yeah.
I kind of like just Jandis. Okay, evocation time.
Let's see. No Conjurer's
Potion.
Calling.
That's fun. What can you do with potion?
Nothing.
Not much.
Yeah.
Time runs out on
I
me.
mean, Arcane Missile is a lot of damage. Just 5 damage because he has 2 spell power on board. I guess you could play Vaporize.
This is actually surprisingly awkward.
Yeah, he could have actually played both the Mana Reservoir and the Lab Partner, and then played the Mana Giant.
I supply only the finest creatures.
All right, well, it's time for the exotic monster to hit the board here from ETC as he has 3 spells, 4 actually for the nature studies ready to go. But he does want to play the broomstick.
Yeah. Maybe you just nature studies anyway, just to go wide. Because the broomstick honestly doesn't mean that much because you're just trading into the stuff. Maybe you try and go a little bit wider and then follow up with broomstick or overflow. I don't know, because nature studies does allow you to play, does allow you to have 2 more beasts, right? Because you could go nature studies and then even if you don't pick up something worthwhile, you could play crystal power. And if you pick up Bog Beam or Iron Bark, you can go nature studies, crystal power, and then Bog Beam or Iron Bark. So there's potential for 3 more.
Right. No, that's a good point. I mean, I like that he's just kind of utilizing the board clear, though, because he feels like he's in such a dominant position. Remember, the life totals are so low that if Empanizado still lets a board stay here, he could just push game-ending damage. But here we go. Finally, some big momentum swings from Empanizado. He has 4 card draws from Cram Session. Firebrand is nice. Raz!
Whoa! I mean, he doesn't get to attack phase with...
DJ. Is this happening?
Hmm.
When I say it's happening, I'm saying, like, is the comeback real?
I think it is. ETC just drew every 7-cost card in a row. He didn't draw Guardian
Time runs
Animals,
out
though,
on me.
because he had played it on turn 1.
Right.
True mastery takes dedication.
Maybe he, like, wait one more turn to play Guardian Animals. I don't know. I don't know what the play was on turn 1. I think I still would have gone for it. I've been questioning it the whole game, though. Alright, can still go.
Either way,
Nature Studies, Crystal Power, and Broomstick again with the Broomstick draw off the top.
Rising Winds is interesting. He can play it right now, but he can't play the Broomstick.
He wants to play
it.
the Broomstick. Yeah. I'll just pick the highest value and you Crystal Power. Oh, it gets poisonous too. And a Diving Griffin, that doesn't matter. It is just a high amount of power though. I guess it traded a lot off the board. This ended up working out quite well. ETC also has Overflow to follow things up. This has been such a weird game. Like Guardian Animals on
truly
one,
unusual.
and then since then it's just been like back and forth, which you'd be like, oh well, you know, he should have died, but now it's like a back and forth game. Just weird.
Right.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Definitely been unusual to say the least, but the nice thing is that it does look like we're going to have a conclusion, and it's going to be a lot tighter than we thought it was going to be, because I was worried that it was going to be just a blowout and that ETC just wins game number 1. But it does seem like Empanizado is fighting back, and more than that, he has an opportunity to potentially win, because ETC is just really slow.
Counterspell.
Plays the Mana Cyclone because I think he didn't feel like he had enough spells. I think I favored also Janda's tempo there. It was kind of close, actually.
Yeah. But this counterspell is pretty huge because I don't think ETC... Oh, Wild Growth.
Oh, jeez.
So I think you go Speaker Gidra, then Wild Growth. If it's counterspell, you can still bite and then pretty much trade off the entire board. or at least much of it.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Doesn't see the mirror entity, so he has to go for this wild growth.
Yep.
Otherwise, he is going to get Omega punished.
Yep. And the bite coming in clutch.
Right, so now I can take out Sorcerer's Apprentice, Fire, and I guess do you take out the do you want to take out the Firebrand and then the lab partner here? Yeah, I think so. I was kind of thinking about if there's any value in killing both spell power, but you don't want to let the Gidget get challenged.
There's the Frostbolt tech.
Right,
Yes, it is in
huge
his
against
deck.
Demon Hunter.
Yep. Pretty easy choice.
Kind of like Arcane Breath here. I don't think Empanizado has a way to easily generate any dragon, so Arcane Breath ping, save the Frostbolt for face.
Yep. Because I think he's played both the natural primordial studies, so that'd be the only way with the Azure Explorer. You could also just set up Chenvala just for like maximum power on board. Just set up a bunch of threats. But this is just
Time runs out
consistent.
on me.
Save the fireball for potential burst damage. He is pushing some. Now ETC's got no exotic mount sellers left. No broomsticks left. Hasn't played like Ysera Unleashed for Dream Portals. And is this a 2-turn lethal setup? There's 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, with the ping, it is.
Whew. All right, ETC finally can play things like Overgrowth. Draw almost as a remaining deck. So he does have the option of going for Innervate Overgrowth, holding onto the excess mana, playing the Ysera, and going for
What to do?
Portals.
Portals next turn.
Yeah.
It's pretty optimistic, though, because if he doesn't get taunts, he's just going to die. But I think he has to go for this optimism line here.
Yeah. And I don't think I've seen this play work out like ever. Because he needs he'll need multiple taunt dragons / rush dragons.
Oh my
and that's
gosh.
even if something doesn't chain together. Yeah.
Fireball? Pexus Blast?
Pexus
oh,
Blast?
He's 1 mana off.
Yeah. You probably just pick a Pexus Blast just for the
Yeah.
hand damage.
I like that damage.
Yeah. Combustion could allow him to push through minion damage. Frost Nova, I feel like you don't need Frost Nova because you're just going to win the game unless he has the perfect outcome from these Dream Portals. Yeah, and it is lethal from hand because the Pexus Blast will deal 5. So I think that's just the checkmate scenario.
My dream is your nightmare.
Does seem like it.
Unless he gets
as,
Crystal Power
ETC,
from Nature Studies after all these are pulled. Like
Right.
he needs to pull taunts and rush minions and then Nature Studies into exactly Crystal Power. Or get a bunch of Malagos from the Dream Portals and then Nature Studies into Moonfire. Okay, taunt. Nah, he's dead. Iron Bark? Oh! Nope, not heal. He's
Nope,
dead from
he's
the
dead.
Pexus Blast.
Wow. So in
Whoa.
a big turnaround here, Empanizado ends up winning against ETC's turn 1. Double Lightning Bloom, Coin Innervate, Guardian Animals. And you can see how ETC was a little bit sad to see it because it was a pretty swaggy play. I will say that, not landing things like the Twilight Runner is definitely a really painful thing, and you can see why maybe Double Lake Thresher does have its limitations, right? Like you talk about, what's the disadvantage versus the advantage, there you go.
Even hitting like a teacher's pet in that scenario probably nets him a win. Like if he goes for that play, he wins the game almost every time if he doesn't pull double leg thresher, because he has the recurring damage even if once teacher's pet dies of whatever beast comes out of it. And then Twilight Runner, I mean, obviously the limitation with Twilight Runner would be he just overdraws because he's attacking so much with 2 Twilight Runners and doesn't have hand space for it. So a little bit of a bummer. I'm still 100% on board with the play. It's just didn't work out that time.
Yeah, it didn't work out that time, but it was definitely fun to see it pan out as we thought it was going to go for the way of ETC, but ended up going for Empanizado. That leads us to our next intermission here. We're going to take a few minutes, and when we come back, we're going to have the conclusion of this last series here of Week 5, Hearthstone Grandmasters.
Hearthstone Grandmasters is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network. T-Mobile.
I would rather be the funniest person in the room at this very moment. Long term, it would be better to be the smartest, but it's just about the moment.
Funniest person in the room. Funniest.
I would rather be the most funniest person in the room.
I'd probably rather be the most intelligent person. Actually, if you're the most intelligent person in the room, you're in the wrong room. That's what they say.
If you're the most intelligent person in the room, then you're probably also going to be very sad. But if you're the funniest person in the room, then you're going to make everybody laugh and everybody's going to have a great time. So I'd rather have that.
Yeah, I'd still rather be the most intelligent and the most funny person in the room.
I think other people are more funny than me, and I would rather be just the smartest guy there, and if we play a game, I would rather just outplay them.
Intelligence is very nice, but happiness is more important, and I think also actually with happiness or with a lot of intelligence comes together as well.
I think I'm both, so... That's a nice answer.
Welcome back, everybody, to Hearthstone Grandmasters final matches here of week number 5 as we have ETC versus Empanizado Currently in the middle of the series, Empanizado able to take quite a reversal of the first game in the series. Started off with ETC coming out hot. 2 lightning blooms and a coin and innervate on turn 1 into a guardian animals. Despite that, pushing 20 damage or so, right? 20. He got really close to the finish line. Empanizado was not able, or rather, Empanizado was able to stabilize, and ETC was not able to finish the game. And I wonder how big that's going to be of an impact, right? Like, if the Druid gets through there, does ETC win that series? Or because Druid's left up, Empanizado now has other targets for things like the Stealth Road?
Yeah, honestly, it feels like Empanizado had good matchups against Druid across the board, so at some point he was going to take a win. Or, I guess not. No, if he's trying to target Druid, then it's really bad that ETC didn't get that win across, because now it's going to be even harder for him to get that Druid win across. But we shall see. Druid obviously, can have crazy starts like that. Those are some of the crazy starts that you categorize under the crazy start and won category. It's rare that you have those crazy starts and you lose, but hey, it can happen. And now Empanizado, Backstab is the odd man out in this opening hand, but Greyheart Sage, Cold Neophyte, Sneaky Delinquent for the Greyheart Sage. Even though Sneaky Delinquent's not the ideal stealth minion to have at that point in the game, I wouldn't be opposed to a 3-keep and throw away the Backstab.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that having this Backstab is nice, but Empanizado just really wants to be proactive as much as he totally can. So I definitely think this makes a lot of sense to me as well. Oh, okay. All right.
He was just missing the 1-drop.
I mean, it looks good, and the Worgen Infiltrator can be played on curve. You have Cult Neophyte to really add Twist a Dagger to make sure ETC does not get anything going. I'm liking it. He's thinking about whether or not he wants to coin out something, I think, here.
The Cult Neophyte to prevent the guardian animals?
Yeah.
Wait a sec.
Whoa. That's a lot of respect for Druid. He finds a crystal power on curve.
Is he just so scarred from the previous game?
Yeah, I don't know about that, because I feel like if you play it on curve, let's say you even just play it on 2 after you play Worgen Infiltrator, your opponent still has trouble with playing anything like Nature Studies or Wild Growth. Huh.
I don't know. I guess it's just like decurve, right? He goes 2-drop into 2-drop into Greyheart Sage. Or maybe he goes Ash Tongue Slayer. I was thinking Ash Tongue Slayer then and Worgen Infiltrator. Then you get to cash in on Ash Tongue Slayer damage now, and then draw with Greyheart Sage on the Worgen Infiltrator next turn. I actually like that better than this line.
Yeah.
This turn go because this is the turn that he wants to overgrowth. So you push maximum damage. You go Ash Tongue Slayer, Worgen Infiltrator. Next turn you follow up with Greyheart Sage because you have the Worgen Infiltrator stealth. And that's like maximum damage over the course of 2 turns. I actually honestly like that better.
I think I like that better too, but I mean that's a thing of the past here as Empanizado once again loses all of his board, and I feel like you want way more momentum than you do right now as the Stealth Rogue pushing way more damage. This might be the longest time I've ever seen Worgen Infiltrator get drawn on turn 1 and not play, TJ.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy. And it's not like ETC is doing anything incredibly powerful. He's just playing removal spells, just play the Teacher's Pet. I do feel, though, like the... Oh, wow. ETC actually has Innervate Speaker Gidra Germination next turn.
Okay.
That's honestly a very powerful play.
Yeah, to help answer the sports state here. And how does Empanizado want to go about this turn to prep for the idea that his opponent's going to play a Guardian Animals on turn 7?
Sap, Ash Tongue Slayer, Spy Mistress.
Deal with him.
Hey, maybe this Worgen Infiltrator will just never be played.
I mean, Worgen Infiltrator versus
Wait.
Spy Mistress? Okay, so he's anticipating Lake Thresher and Guardian Animals, and he'd rather lose his Worgen Infiltrator than his Spy Mistress.
Yeah, but, like, that would require him to have Innervate and Guardian Animals and pull exactly Lake Thresher. And you're foregoing an extra damage on board.
I'm not disagreeing
Hard
with you,
disagree.
TJ.
Play the one with more power.
Yeah, I'm not really disagreeing with you, TJ. I definitely feel like this is a situation where every single damage point is going to matter. But he's got a way to push damage. He can develop more and eviscerate and kill off the Speaker Gidra. He cannot let this survive, right? This is just too threatening.
Yeah, especially if it gets buffed up, which doesn't really have too many ways to buff up. I guess Iron Bark, but leave it around too long, survival of the fittest. And then, yeah, it's just too threatening. Even if not for the damage, but its ability to clear off your board pretty efficiently with Wind Fury.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like Empanizado should just be trying to prioritize as much board presence as possible. He's leaving up the Speaker Gidra. All right. This is exciting, TJ. He's setting up the 2-turn lethal.
All right.
He says you have no top minions, and he couldn't be farther from the truth. In fact, he's got a way to double buff.
Well, he
Iron
sapped the
Bark.
top minion. He knows there's a top minion there because he sapped it.
Well, I think he was prepared for it. But, like, this double Iron Bark play is pretty devastating.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. All right, well. Oh, my gosh. 10 damage from the hand. I mean, this rogue deck is something else. It has a lot of power. He has to play Jandis here and hope that he gets, like, rushers.
Yeah. I mean, he's not... He can kill the Speaker Gager, so he's not dead.
Rusher?
Whoa. I mean, that is good.
What?
Whoa.
That is so close to the nuts.
Like, Teacher's Pet is also just one of the highest value 5-drops. Like,
right.
You know, maybe I'd take an Earth Elemental over a Teacher's Pet. But,
well, if he had
or
Tundra
Mizaki.
Rhino,
Holy moly, imagine Mizaki. It would die,
I was thinking if he had Tundra Rhino, both the Teacher's Pet and the Death Rattle could charge this turn.
Oh, that would be better.
That's why I was saying that it was really close to the nuts. And despite all this, Empanizado still cleared off the board, and ETC is still in a position where he has to answer his board state.
Okay, if this is a low power minion, you play Twilight Runner. If it's a high power minion, you play Teacher's Pet. Low power minion, Twilight Runner.
That makes sense.
Oh, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage.
Right. Very close, but not enough. But, like, how much do you save it versus just go for it? Are you supposed to just...
Go for it in case of Secret Passage? I mean, you probably have enough mana to do all of that anyway, right?
Right.
At least the South Sea deckhand, right? In case a taunt comes out.
Yeah, I think I like the I think I like the South Sea deckhand, but like the idea is that he really wants to have that cold blood activator, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Upstairs.
But knowing that a
Nature
teacher's
studies.
pet is in hand, I don't know. Yeah, that one's tough. Maybe the cold blood argument is a solid one.
I'm with you, but I mean, the current situation is that right now, ETC just found a guardian animals. All right.
He does need to protect him.
Pull.
Oh,
Threshers.
He could play that and Lightning Bloom, teacher's pet.
Oh, that's so sick. Okay, so Empanizado needs Eviscerate.
He has an Eviscerate in the deck.
Okay, or Secret Passages. Here we go. No. And that's game.
I give up.
There's nothing for Empanizado to do except concede. And that's going to be game number 2. ETC ties it up. As it looks like we have ourselves a bunch of interesting games of Hearthstone today, TJ. As this one, again, it felt like it was like Rogue was in the driver's seat of like, this looks pretty good, pretty solid, and then the other side makes a massive comeback, and then not able to really finish the job. Pretty interesting.
I feel like we could go back and scrutinize that early game from Empanizado. There had to have been some inefficiencies with it. Just like the turn where he could have pushed with Ash Tongue Slayer, then followed up with Greyheart Sage, going into turn 4 on Druid. Turn 4 on Druid, that's when you kind of want to pressure the most against non-Malygos Druids, because it's like a turn away from Lightning Bloom Guardian Animals, and it's also a turn. It's also the turn that they mostly want to wild overgrowth, and get that ramp in. So it felt like the damage was a little bit inefficient there, and then. Even though it didn't end up mattering for going a power on board to play around exactly Innervate, Guardian Animals, Whole Leg Thresher, those types of things, like you have to be so efficient with your damage with that Rogue deck. Even in good matchups, they're good matchups because you can be efficient with your damage and plan out your damage.
Right.
And maybe not too many different spots for Empanizado, but I do feel like there were some. And I don't know if they changed the outcome of that game. But, hey, maybe they make it closer. Maybe they give him a shot. Who knows?
Now!
But you're right. A couple of weird games where the player who on turn 4 you're like, wow, they're winning, lost in both games. In ETC's case, the player on turn 1 who you're like, wow, he's winning, lost. So now we turn to Soul Demon Hunter versus Bomb Warrior, a matchup that we've seen quite a few times over the past few days.
Yeah, we've seen this matchup a handful of times, and it does seem like it does really come down to a race scenario a lot of the time. Empanizado start things off with a pretty slow hand, no early game minions, which is always annoying to deal with. ETC doesn't really have anything else to do either for the early game, so we might just see a little bit of some poking from the Demon Hunter. And then ETC has that Wrench Caliber and the Anchor. I do kind of wonder if ETC wants to curate his weapon pool at all, if he wants to avoid playing Anchor so he can guarantee that he has Horde Pillager on the Wrench Caliber. Because that would work.
You don't take the walk, silly.
Oh, yeah.
That would work on the curve.
I forgot about that. Empanizado plays a Kobold Sticky Finger in his Soul Demon Hunter.
Job's done.
Oh, yeah. That's real nice if he wants to go for that Wrench Caliber.
Yeah, not even just like an Acidic Swamp Ooze, which seems to be the more popular weapon destruction tool.
That's real nice, DJ.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. He can't do it this turn, which means that ETC can actually destroy his Wrench Caliber before it gets No, he can't! The Frozen Shadow Weaver to the Cobalt Sticky Finger! Oh my... What?
Oh, good lord. Wait,
That
he
is
can
so
destroy it.
sick!
He can destroy it if he doesn't sense the Cobalt Sticky Finger.
Is he even gonna, like, think of that? Like, he's probably just
Anchor?
gonna cut in class. That seems way more enticing. That's insane.
Oh, he's thinking about it. He's thinking about it, TJ.
Nope.
Sink it in. No, he's not going to do it.
That is
And
a
Cobalt
deck
Sticky
building
Finger-
victory right there for Empanizado.
Yeah.
Deck building
It-
victory.
It feels like it for sure.
That's
I don't know if it's... So you're calling it right now. It's game. You're saying Empanizado wins.
Yes, I'm calling it right there. Derek Brown, sign this one up. Deck building victory, top 5 plays. Just montage the rest of this game. I can see into the future. Empanizado wins because of that Frozen Shadow Weaver, Cobalt Sticky Finger combo. Pack it up.
Someone's gotta lead the charge.
Sky Raider doesn't really do enough. And Cobalt Sticky Finger reaches in the cookie jar once more. Finds a piece of candy. Oh. Oh, it's glorious, TJ.
What would be even funnier is if Empanizado also put a Horde Pillager in his deck. Obviously, he does not have room for all of those tech inclusions. But if he could just win the game with bombs that in that way, that would be something else. Empanizado does need to solve the problem of no soul fragments, Skull of Gul'dan not outcast. Oh, just kidding.
Okay.
Warlock.
I mean, sure. When it rains, it pours.
Oh man, that is so much damage in his hand now. Wow.
Right, so he's got 9 damage to the Mirror Slicer and the Gleefbound Adept. He has 2 Soul Shard Lapidaries. So if the Mirror Slicer and the Lapidaries and the Gladebound Adept come over 2 turns, it would be 18 plus 22 damage. Plus Twin Slices. Plus any hero powers. But I think he doesn't have enough mana to do all of that.
Yeah, and it's not like 1-to-1.
Time to go.
ETC can armor up and armor smith, risky skipper.
TJ,
Yes.
pack it up. We're leaving. We're going to game 4.
I grow impatient.
I'm ready. Let's go.
It's a little bit, yeah. There's a lot. There's still a little bit going. There's still a little bit going on here, right? ETC could gain a bunch of life with Risky Skipper and find the opportunity to gain Armor Smith or play Armor Smith and gain a bunch of life.
Yeah. Keep in mind, he also has a bomb in his deck. Well, it'd be so fitting as if the bomb deals the last points of damage.
Well, he's got 5, 9, 13,
Do try to keep yourselves
15 next turn from hand.
This is guaranteed.
And it's
skipper.
not over.
Armor made
Risky Skipper plus the Armor Smith, and I mean, by all means, this could end up being a game where it looks kind of silly if we declare it over, since ETC is going to gain a bunch of armor with 1 more blast of Lord Barov. Okay. Okay.
Does that many soul? 3
At
soul
least-
fragments.
Yeah, he's got at least 3, I was going to say.
Yeah, because he destroyed 1 last turn, but he also shuffled 2 over the previous turns. Has a drawn 1, so. I wonder if it's just like Consume Magic, Soul Shard, Lapidary, and. Or. What about like Consume Magic, Hero Power, Mana Feeder Panthera, Twin Slice Gladebound Adept?
Demons?
Okay. I think I just like the big thing.
Well, one of those things is big.
That's fair. Because if your opponent plays Brawl, they still have damage left over on the board. I think that's what I like about it. I think I like this the best.
Okay.
They Brawl, they can't really do much else. Then you have a little bit more mana to develop and keep the pressure going. This keeps a steady stream of attack every single turn, threatening lethal or threatening game-ending lethal, or like the potential to end the game. Excuse me, my brain's starting to shut down, TJ.
It's that time of the weekend. Last match of the day on Sunday. Hearthstone starts to become reality.
That's right.
Well, best outcome for ETC.
Yeah, pretty close to ideal. Not in terms of the game state, but yes, in terms of the Brawl outcome. Guess you just hero power, and that's another opportunity for Empanizado to start developing more. Immediately sends the spirit upstairs. I think I like the Mana Theater Panthera here as well, just to keep up the card draw and
Such a beautiful shield.
because you're gonna hero power this turn. I don't know if there's a need to play the Glavebound Adept.
I guess he just wants to go full damage.
Sure.
I always play in the other order, like play the Mana Theater Panthera next turn. I feel like he should have Twin Slice there, though. Just for mana efficiency. You never know, he might need that extra mana crystal.
I mean, this is maximum power on the board too, so I think it's totally fine. He has a bunch of different health breakpoints, so Bladestorm is awkward.
What now?
Brawl again. It's kind of as good as
The Brawl has a huge punish, though. I guess he could Bladestorm at the end.
Yeah. But then you're at 9 because you didn't have mana to armor up, which doesn't feel great either.
Right.
If he Horde Pillagers, he gets back Ankar. He can swing with Ankar and Skipper Armor Smith. No, it doesn't work. He doesn't clear anything off.
I must choose.
He's just gonna go try and win the Brawl that way. Okay.
Sure, but I mean, oh my goodness, he is just dead.
Yeah, he is very dead.
All right. It was a good attempt because I think ETC said that like he was so far behind that he needed to do something pretty drastic. But yeah, Demon Hunter cruises to a victory. Story of the weekend, TJ. A bunch of these matches feel like they've been pretty lopsided in terms of some of the games. We do have some couple back and forths though, in this series in particular, where it looked like both of those players in the first two games seem to be jumping out to an early lead. But we do finally have that game where it looked like Empanizado's deck-building decisions has finally paid off, where the Cobalt Sticky Finger ended up being huge. But of course, with the opening act of the Frozen Shadow Weaver that was able to lock in that weapon in place and prevent ETC from swinging and destroying that weapon, that was huge.
Yeah. Kind of funny that the two tech guards worked out so perfectly in tandem.
Beautifully.
But that's what they're there for, right? So now last deck for Empanizado is the Rogue deck that we saw face off against the Druid. ETC has a Demon Hunter of his own, as well as the Warrior that we just saw. So I'd still say ETC has a decent chance in the series.
Yeah, I would say that the Warrior against the Rogue is pretty solid, and then Demon Hunter versus Rogue is is pretty good because the Mystic has that AoE to sweep up the stealth minions. So I agree, TG. I think that this is very doable. And I think that this is going to be pretty exciting. Let's go into game number 4. Empanizado keeps Infiltrator Lillian, one of my favorite cards for the Rogue class right now. Just like what it does. It's so annoying for everyone else to deal with.
Sky Raider, an option for a keep for ETC. It is just a play on 1. I think that's certainly a good keep. Risky Skipper, not so much, but with Battle Rage in hand as well.
Someone's gotta lead the charge.
Is a 3 keep.
Okay. I mean, that is one way to go about it, right? Like, to just try and see whatever you... try to piece together a bunch of removal and just drain the rogue out of resources. I've even seen a lot of full keeps lately, TJ. It feels like it.
I know.
I wonder what the win rate is for when players full keep it versus not. I know it's like a contextual data point, like you can't really draw too many meaningful conclusions from it, but I am just curious to see what that means.
It depends how correct their full keep is, I guess.
Sure. But, I mean, we can still put a bunch of data points together, even with lack of context. Still,
yes, we could.
It makes it more interesting, TJ.
I feel like I've disagreed with more of the full keeps than not.
They've certainly been a point of contention, I think. And I am most certainly intrigued by some of the mulligan decisions. But, again, a lot of these games do end up coming down to the wire by the narrow margin, so it's like I can understand what they are expecting for the average outcome, but sometimes you gotta play for the optimal outcome against players of this caliber.
Yeah.
Can't just like keep and be defensive. You gotta go for it sometimes, you know?
Yep. ETC is slow playing this one. I imagine that he's going to try and hold on to turn 5 to go for Risky Skipper Armorsmith, to go for Battle Rage. Problem there is, though, like with the Risky Skipper Battle Rage keep, like you're committing to holding on to Risky Skipper for quite a long time. Because you need to wait until you have Risky Skipper plus another minion plus Battle Rage, which is at least turn 4. And then if you want to use Risky Skipper plus another minion plus Battle Rage and actually have ways to clear, you need Risky Skipper plus 2 minions, which means you're waiting till like at least turn 6 or 7 to play the Risky Skipper plus Battle Rage. I guess the argument in that situation can be, well, you know that you're going to need Risky Skipper at some point to win the game. You might as well just keep it, but if at some point becomes turn 7, turn 8, you might as well have better cards to fight in the interim until you get to that point, then keep it in your mulligan. Right. So it is a bold keep for sure, and one that still has yet to pay off for ETC, and probably won't for a couple more turns. I just don't think he can afford to go for it now because there is zero payoff outside of just a tiny bit of armor.
Yeah, I have to agree with you here, and I don't think that this has been a very good start here at all for ETC. The Horde Pillager looks like it is just played for pure tempo. And now Empanizado wants to really find an opportunity to punch in here. I'm liking Salty Decade's Hook Scimitar. I think I just want to be able to push as much damage as possible. You can use Salty Decade to trade into the Horde Pillager and all face. You know, just like protect your board a little bit, but ultimately don't give your opponent an opportunity to leverage any board for things like Armorsmith, Battle Rage. Your opponent spent a lot of time playing a tempo 4-2 on 4. That's awful. That is really bad stats. And it was ETC's best play. So Empanizado has to really twist the knife here.
Yeah, he's probably confused, though, because He's looking at it and he's like, you need to see a 4
Too
cap
soon.
or 3 cap. And then
Right,
he
he's
played a
not
4
playing the
choice.
cards he kept.
But, I mean, at this point you just have to say, well, who cares? I want to deal a lot of
Right.
damage. I want to know where the face at. I want
No
the face.
attack on the Worgen. Okay.
Who's boss?
He has sneaky
Yeah,
liquid in hand for a Greyheart Sage.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. I think missing 2 damage is actually pretty significant at this point. Oof.
All right, well, that's an Armor Smith out of the way at least. Empanizado can feel pretty
Right.
good about that.
It's a lot of life gain, though.
Yeah.
So many options.
So, either Lillian or the Hook Scimitar. I guess not. Boy, he can go and eviscerate into this Armor Smith. It just feels like slightly wasted. Especially since I kind of want to just play my minions and dagger back up. This Infiltrator Lillian is pesky. Because it represents more than just the 4 damage on board. So protecting it, it has actually a decent amount of value because it's pretty awkward to deal with. Blade Storm, Armor Up, Shield Slam.
Yeah, you
Don't
take
really
the
see
4
any other
from the
options.
Forsaken Lillian, but
Yeah.
you gotta find ways to remove the board. You can't let your opponent stick anything here. So it's an agree from me, TJ.
Is it an agree or a hard agree?
It is a hard agree.
Nice. Empanizado really needs a secret passage right about now.
You need something. Colt Neophyte helps, can push damage. Wouldn't mind throwing an Eviscerate to the face to be mana efficient here.
Yep.
I mean,
Hasn't played a weapon.
yeah, there's just nothing for him right now to synergize with half his hand. Cutting Class, Dr. Krasinov, Horde Pillager.
What now?
Is he playing Upgrade for 2? To play Dr. Krasin?
Yes! Yes!
Oh my gosh.
That's what I call a play.
At this point, why even play the upgrade? Just hero power and gain life. I guess he has Horde Pillagers? I don't know. I guess at this point, you're desperate enough. Empanizado finds the Burning Scorpion, which is actually kind of sick. Helps him get 4 damage onto the board.
Options.
He's getting there. Just very, very slowly. So counting damage and taking a look at how much damage he has left in his deck. Empanizado still has a Hook Scimitar, 2 Cold Bloods, 2 Sinister Strike. That's sort of the direct damage. Also has Ash Tongue Slayers, which do require a stealth minion, but he does have one in the form of Burrowing Scorpion.
Right. So, I mean, things look okay here for ATC. Not amazing, but okay. So we can clear things off and then hero power and gain some life.
Try to keep yourselves alive.
Got 6 damage from that upgraded weapon too.
Getting in there.
I just don't think this is what you anticipated when you're like, yeah, I'm bringing Bomb Warrior this week.
Yikes.
Yeah, this is not what Empanizado wanted here, and he's kind of the kind of debate if he wants to actually dagger down this Lord Barov.
I wonder.
Probably.
Still needs to find secret passage here.
Yeah, just in case he finds like another stealth minion and needs it to stick. ETC doesn't have the option of killing off his own Lord Barov.
Right. Okay, cutting glass for 3. Yeah, I guess ETC has Arcane Intellect. Finds the Wrench Caliber.
Finally!
All right, we're in there.
Yeah. I do think I like Wrench Caliber plus armor up. I don't think you need a shield block here.
I wonder.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Definitely in a good spot. All right, well, Empanizado still needs that secret passage, still needs to find an opportunity to draw cards or play things. Oh my goodness.
What about another Cold Blood?
Oh, that's exactly what Empanizado didn't want to see. You can kind of see it written all over his face. He is pissed.
Yep.
All this aggression, all this momentum, and he can't even get his opponent past the 15 health mark, the halfway, without watching him rebound all the way back up. He re-equips the axe!
Oh no! It's okay, he's got Corsair Cash.
Oh my god.
If only he had a stealth minion, he'd still be short. Let's see, if he had a Burrowing Scorpion on the board right now, he would have 8, 12, 16, 20. He'd have lethal. If there was a stealth Burrowing Scorpion on the board right now, he'd have lethal. Unfortunately, there's not.
Right. I mean, it's so easy for us to say, obviously.
Yeah, so easy for us to say that if a minion magically appeared on the board, that one player would win.
Right.
I think we'd have bigger problems on our hands if that happened.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that, like, if we got to the point where, you know, we start to dream up minions on what could have what could be the best case scenario here, we could dream a lot bigger than Burrowing Scorpion.
True, Dan. Very true.
Yes.
Push the 1. Oh? Tundra Rhino?
Tundra Rhino. Tundra Rhino. Stranglethorn Tiger. Close. Close.
That'll do.
There was lethal, actually, that turn. If Empanizado cold-blooded the Horde Pillager, which gave him the axe back and attacked into the Horde Pillager.
Yep.
Why does it feel like this stealth rogue either kills so fast or just looks so pathetic? It's one or the other. There's feast or famine. But here we go as we dial into what it could. It's guaranteed to be the last game here. ETC has the Demon Hunter and that rogue. The matchup does feel like Demon Hunter has those tools though, and I think Empanizado just needs to find his power curve, right? Because he's been getting a little fancy with some of the sequencing of stuff, but that game felt like it was he was in the driver's seat, and then all of a sudden, Warrior swept everything up, and then he lost all his momentum from that point on. And I think something's going to happen similar here with Blade Dance, with the Shard Shattered Mystic, with the fact that Outros to Outcast is in ETC's deck list too. All of these reasons and more is why I think ETC should feel pretty comfortable. Nothing guaranteed, though, obviously.
Just needs to find Soul Fragments early. Needs to find Aldraki Warblades at some point in the game. The removal and the healing does need to line up. It's not a given victory, but like how you put it, the Demon Hunter does have the tools
Watch
to beat
your
this rogue.
back.
But it will come down to this: Spirit Jailer and Shard Shatter Mystic in the opening hand. Wow, Wand Maker as well. I think I might rather throw that away and look for like Aldraki Warblades, because I don't think you want to go like Spirit Jailer Wand Maker into Shard Shatter because it's just gonna kill off itself. I think I would rather throw that away and look for something else. But ETC keeps it.
Yeah, I just think that Wand Maker gives him something proactive to play, and also has the upside of things like silence, things like mana burn. All of it could be pretty solid. I think it's okay.
Yeah. My issue with it was just that if you're planning on AoEing, you don't want to play a 2-drop that's just going to die to the AoE, I suppose. But I guess you could always just hold on to Shard Shatter Mystic.
Right.
In this case, it does contest the board, so. And finds a Twin Slice, which could be fantastic with the Eldraki Warblades later on in the game.
And Empanizado going for a trade and push, keeping things methodical, and understanding that if he committed... Well, I guess like if you put your opponent on a Shard Shatter Mystic, you should be pushing damage there, right? Because you know that he's going to kill his own minion anyways.
Yeah, you should be pushing damage, yeah.
And he saw his opponent keep 3 out of 4 cards.
Demons.
Making me think that it might be better if that ended up being the case. But seems like Empanizado's thinking optimistically. Okay, Infiltrator Lillian on 4 seems to be generally the best play that you can go for, but Empanizado does have other plays available with this Spy Mistress draw. You can combine it with the Hooked Scimitar and push out damage. But then you'd be playing off curve on turn 5.
Evil lurks in these halls.
Like
I think
Lillian
just, yeah, Lillian just makes a lot more sense here. Marl Slicer it is.
I like it. The race has started, and ETC has a little bit of a head start because he got this weapon set up first. He's got this 3-2.
His weapon also puts 2 healing time bombs in his deck.
Right.
Which is more than Hooked Scimitar can say.
True. The Hooked Scimitar, has that benefit of being 1 less mana here. I think with the Empanizado, I really want to play this Burrowing Scimitar. It seems like Demon Hunter is inviting the race. But he's not playing the Spy Mistress, knowing that extends into Blade Dance.
Oh, and he has the Consume Magic. Oh, yeah. And he drew a Soul Fragment.
That is big.
And he's got a Skull Gul'dan in prime outcast position. He also has an Altruist. To be able to capitalize on cards drawn from a skull in prime outcast position.
Why do you keep saying it like that?
It's the last match, the last game on the last day. I'm losing my mind, Dan.
Well, Empanizado is going straight for the mine of ETC. Hook Scimitar with double stealth. Oh my god, the Altruist Empanizado is devastated.
Yeah, he's gonna die.
He is so dead.
He's not even gonna need the skulls to kill him. You put him down to 8. He's got double Twin Slice in hand. Yeah, he doesn't even need skulls. He has to stop the Altruist. Oh,
okay.
No. Okay.
That's huge.
Draw some cards.
That's big. Backstab is really big here.
Let's see. Sinister Strike.
Okay, sap.
Yep.
I think it's
So many
Sep.
options.
I don't think you could justify leaving up Altruist. You're asking for danger to happen. If they do play Altruist, they're committing 4 out of their 7 mana crystals. I guess in his mind, he's thinking like if Altruist still is in the hand, things like Jandis Barrow gets worse, but there's just no other option. ETC has a chance for lethal here. Wandmaker just gives him the Twin Slice. He
The first
could
one did.
also play
There's no reason to assume the second one won't.
Well, he could also play Altruist and then Wandmaker and then just kill off the Sneaky Delinquent, pick up a little bit extra damage.
Yeah.
Go from there.
Poor Warlock.
Finds
Ooh,
the Shard Shatter Mystic. That's too much. That is too much to come back from ETC here. Playing the Mana Feeder Panther. You can see Empanizado disappointed. This is a pretty important match. Going at 3-1 versus 2-2. Huge difference in terms of your outlook of playoffs versus starting to fear relegation.
Yep. Nothing.
Nope.
That's it.
Stormpike Commando. And that's it. ETC wins his 3rd series of the round robin stage. One of the best starts we've ever seen ETC have in Grandmasters, as he is improved to a 3-1, topping Division B. Well done. And you know, he did it with a different take because he did bring Turtle Mage this week, but he wasn't dependent on it because it got banned.
Yeah. I mean, he brought Turtle Mage in week 1, right? And he actually had a decent amount of success with it. He went 1-1, but I feel like the Turtle Mage won twice, or got won once and then got banned once. So, a success if it gets banned. And now 3-1, so tied for the top. Can't be too comfortable though, right? Because after today, everybody's still within 2 matches of each other. There's not like a 4-0 player and an 0-4 player. The last place and first place is 3-1, 1-3. In a lot of cases, 1-2, right? Except for Briarthorn, who's 1-3 in Division B. But like Bloodyface, Nalgedon, both 1-2 with their full 4 matches still left remaining. So still close, very close.
Very, very close. But that brings us to the conclusion